neck lateral flexion. And for this stretch technique, we will stand at the client's head, facing the client's feet. We'll rotate the client's head so that they are looking the opposite shoulder. Cross your arms and place one hand on the client's head and the other on the client's shoulder. Depress the client's shoulder and push the head towards the opposite shoulder. Now, what we want to remember when doing this is to make sure the client moves, anytime moving the neck, that they do it naturally. Typically, when you say, please look to the left or to the right to a client has a tendency to jerk to the left or to the right. So what we want to do is remind the client to naturally, slowly look over to the left. And I'm watching Mike and I'm making sure he's not forcing his neck, because we don't want to go into a stretch while the client is in a forced position. So now what I'm going to do, first and foremost, once again, and you'll hear a lot about this in this class, and that's going to be body mechanics first. And remembering that the table can always be too low. By widening my stance, I can adjust to that. But one of the things that we have to be mindful of is the table being too high. And we'll talk more about that when we discuss body mechanics. So I'm going to place one hand on the head, the other hand on the shoulder. Now, once again, I am leaning into the stretch. And make sure, before any stretch, and anytime you work on a client, to let them know and give them the comfort of knowing that they can communicate at any time if the stretch feels uncomfortable in any way. Now we're holding for 30 seconds, being mindful of our body mechanics. I'm going to have Mike take a nice deep breath. And release. Moving the head naturally back to the center in a neutral position. And then we would move on to the opposite side. Moving on to the scalene muscles. A great way to remember this is scalene. They do have a, if everyone wants to feel on their neck right now, they have a scale-like texture. And if you can feel on the neck, you can actually, if you'll feel on the neck right now, you can actually feel them going down the neck. Do you kind of feel that, Vanessa?
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. So